Hey friends, Brittany Jensen here. As promised, I'm going to give you a live video that talks all about the next chakra as we're moving up what we like to call the rainbow bridge. I already talked about the root chakra, the sacral chakra. And for those of you who missed those videos, they are posted in my free Reiki and chakra tips group, and they're also posted on my blog, which you can find at brittanyjensen.com. So be sure to check those out if you missed them and you want to know how imbalances in those chakras can manifest and why you should care. Okay, so today we're moving up to the solar plexus chakra, which is located just above the navel. Oh, one more thing before I get going, because sometimes once I get going, I get real going here. I'm booking April Get Balanced with Your Girls parties. I'm not sure if you've seen, some of the posts that I've been doing about that, but essentially what I'm doing is hosting, I'm not hosting them, you will host a party for you and your girlfriends who want to try, who want to get chakra readings done, and I'll do a mini balancing for each of you. What's cool about it is you don't have to come to me, you can have fun with your girls, you can, drink some wine or watch a movie or have some appetizers, whatever you want, and I'm doing mini sessions for a little bit cheaper than what I would do a regular full hour-long session. And so far the parties have gone really well and everybody's really liked them. So if you're interested in that, comment below, shoot me a message, or join my free Reiki tips group where I announce, dates that I have free and things like that. Okay, so let's get into the solar plexus. The solar plexus, like I said, located just above the navel. This is your energy and power center. Okay, so it's also related to anything that has to do with digestion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refer to my notes. I'm going to give you guys some ways that an imbalanced solar plexus chakra can manifest in your life. And this can be a physical manifestation. Typically, a physical issue is one of the first things that will show up. Because typically when the chakra is half open, so I guess it'd also be half closed, the first thing to happen is a physical issue. I've talked about this in my last videos, but I'll give you a brief rundown on the chakras. Are literally energy vortexes, which I know that sounds crazy, like when you start throwing around words like vortex, and energy really shouldn't be crazy, because come on guys, we live in a world that's full of energy, so knowing that we are also energy and that we need energy to live is not so crazy. But I can see how the word vortex might sound a little, sci-fi or something. But essentially you have these energy centers in your body. There's main ones and there's minor ones. So these main 7 that I'm talking to you guys about, I compared it the other day to someone that I was having an appointment for. I was like, these are how the main energy is going to flow into your body from source energy, God energy, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing. We need that for our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being. And when we are not taking in energy and metabolizing it properly, you're going to have issues all over the place. And bottom line is, probably most people are completely out of balance just because of what's happened to them in their life, stress, abuse, trauma, and how we've reacted to those things. Here's how the chakras become blocked, okay? When we shut down our feelings in a certain area, that shuts down the chakra. And what happens then is you can't take in energy, you can't release energy, and when that center gets closed, then it's also restricting the free flow of your body, free flow of energy through your body, okay? Disease is literally stagnant energy that's like unmoving, old, stagnant. Like I think of like, murky, mucky water that's like ponds, like infested with bugs, because it's not the same as like a stream that you see like flowing over rocks, and stuff doesn't have a chance to really like grow nasty there. You know what I'm saying? Because it keeps moving. Just can't put that analogy right now, but that's just what came to my head, so I thought I'd throw it out there for you guys. Okay, so solar plexus. This one is huge too in the time that we're living in, because like I said, this is your power center, okay? This is all about, if you have a balanced solar plexus, you know your place in the world, okay? You know, and you are completely comfortable with who you are. This is your personal identity. This is your ego self, okay? So I don't like to get too much into the selves, because again, you guys probably think I sound a little crazy, but you really have 2 selves, okay? You have a higher self up here, and that's more like your soul. Like that is who you are stripped away. When you strip down everything that you think you are, all these ideas that you have about yourself, that's your ego self. That is your identity in the physical world, okay? And that is all about solar plexus. So it's really about knowing who you are, being comfortable with it, and knowing that you have a purpose here outside of anybody else, okay? And I feel like the kind of times that we're living in, it's so hard, it's so easy for this one to become blocked, because from the moment that we're born, we are taught to give away your power to get what you want, to get what you need, right? Even as a child, like, you're taught to be almost submissive to your parents, like, like, you're less than them, and as long as you give away your power, then they're going to take care of you. They're going to give you what you need. And so then we get this false assumption that giving away your personal power is how you win or something, or how you get what you need. And then what happens is all of these behaviors are formed as a child, pretty much, okay? And then they just carry over into adulthood. So when people come to see me, I'm having to kind of assess, okay, what happened here? What created these issues as a child, probably, like, what led to this? And then we have to, like, clear all that stuff away to really get balanced and stay balanced for good. But that's where I come in. All right, so I'm just gonna give you some of my notes over here. Okay, so this is also related to energy. Okay, energy and digestion. So this would be like a physical imbalance. Let's go over here to physical imbalances real quick since I'm talking about it. I'm gonna give you a list. Okay, this doesn't mean that you have all of these things. You could have one. You could have all of them. You could have none of them. Not necessarily do you have a physical issue if it's closed off, but typically there's something. Okay, so a physical imbalance could manifest as stomach problems, eating disorders, food allergies or intolerances, any digestive gastric issues, indigestion, ulcers, pancreas, diabetes, high blood pressure. And diabetes is an interesting one. Let me just make a note here. Because I don't know if you guys realize this, but a lot of children that are diagnosed with diabetes, that develop diabetes as children, a lot of times it's stress-induced. Okay, so if you think about this, what has happened to them? A lot of times when maybe they feel, okay, so they're stressed, okay? Maybe something has happened in their life that has taken away their personal power, or they feel helpless or like a victim. And then what happens? Then they develop diabetes. I mean, it just so makes sense, you know what I mean? Which is really sad. That kind of stuff happens. But okay, so moving on. Hepatitis, colon diseases, irritable bowel syndrome, bloating, adrenal problems, sleep disorder. Yeah, adrenal problems is a big one. A lot of people have adrenal problems. And adrenal is like literally because this power center has been so abused, like from like overwork, or maybe like being anxietal, or having that like fight or flight response too often, which is what happens when we have stress, that literally exhausts the adrenals, and the adrenals are completely related to the solar plexus, okay? There's also okay, all right, I'm jumping ahead. Let me just finish this, then we'll move on. Just got so much stuff I want to tell you guys. Okay, so any sleep issues could be related to this. So insomnia, chronic fatigue, difficulty breathing, back pain, multiple sclerosis, chronic pain, panic attacks, frequent illness that is a result of deficient or excessive energy, excessive anger or fear, psychological imbalances, obsessive compulsive behaviors. Okay, we're going to bingo soon. It's bingo day. Okay, so let me just say real quick, there is a front and a back to every chakra, okay, and they work as a pair. So the solar plexus, the front is like totally related to like I said, your place in the world. This is like the emotional aspect of it. The back is more like a will aspect, and the back is related to the back of your solar plexus, which would be right behind your navel area. This is related toward your intention for your own health and wellness. So like if you love yourself, you want to like get healthy the right way, and you intend on being healthy, then that means that this back one is probably open and functioning properly, okay? So let's see, what else do I want to talk about with you guys? Okay. All right, well, let's just go into, since I'm reading off lists and things like that, let's just go into, okay, real quick, I'll talk about this. This one is like forming a lot of times, like when, this is when a child goes through terrible twos, when this chakra is really like forming and expanding, okay? Because that is literally your child trying to assert their individualness, their individuality. Yeah, they're trying to assert. They're literally like do you know what I'm trying to say? They're becoming an individual, okay? And they're trying to assert their identity and find their place in the world. And so they're kind of breaking away from you a little bit. There's like a little bit of like chaos, and they act like a crazy person kind of, but that is literally them trying to assert themselves and letting go of you guys a little bit as parents. Okay, so let's go with overactive. When I think overactive solar plexus, I literally think of like a guy with a beer gut, okay? And that, like, a beer gut is literally the physical manifestation of an overactive solar plexus. Okay, so basically this would be someone that is too much in their ego self, okay? Like too connected to who they are, what they think they are, okay? And not enough connection to their higher self, which so an overactive means there's too much energy there. So not only is there too much energy there, it's like I compare overactive to like a restaurant that has too many people. No energy can come in and no energy can come out. It's like stagnant there. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, so overactive would be some of the ways they could manifest on this is the mental, emotional level. They could be stubborn, judgmental, critical of yourself or others. They might be a perfectionist. You might have a hard time trusting yourself or others. Low self-esteem. Typically low self-esteem is underactive, though, I'm going to be honest. This is more like self-righteous attitude. Inability to feel satisfied. Oh, I'm getting weak. Okay. Unethical behavior, lack of integrity, irresponsible, arrogant, intolerant, intense or overpowering energy, domineering, forceful energy. We all know people like this, right? You're probably, as I'm reading it, like, this person probably has an overactive solar plexus, you know? Maybe they're intrusive, controlling, aggressive, manipulative. They have a rebellious attitude. They could misuse their power, have like that dictatorship mentality, power hungry, workaholic, anger issues, quarrelsome, or they provoke others and like seem to enjoy it. Temper tantrums, violent outbursts, negative thinking and attitude, overly intellectual, rigid thinking, fear of change. Okay. Let's just move right on to the underactive since we're just doing this. Okay, so yeah, I talked a little bit about this underactivity, which I think more so often I feel like people have this is closed off, okay? And one thing I'll mention too is, okay, so the solar plexus is in between the heart chakra and the root chakra, okay? In between the heart chakra and the sacral chakra. Sacral chakra is all about like pleasure and emotions and sex and, you know, your sexual nature and all that. Heart is up here. So like if you have this blocked right here, a lot of times there's a disconnect between heart and like sex. Okay, so then those two don't match up. You know what I mean? Like they are separate. And we've all known people too. I'm losing my connection. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Underactive. Let's talk really fast because I don't want to be late for bingo. Okay, so you might lack inner strength, lack of willpower or intention, lack of courage, lack of confidence, lack of self-discipline, or maybe you don't follow through, unreliable, easily manipulated. You blame others. You're a victim, essentially. I know this because I used to have a problem with this one. Like, nothing was my fault. It was just, at that time, like, I didn't realize I was doing it, but I blame other people. I blame other people for everything in my life, and all I was doing was giving away my personal power. Because when you don't take responsibility for the things that have happened in your life or are happening in your life, then you basically are putting yourself in a completely hopeless and helpless situation, because if you didn't put yourself there, you also cannot change it, okay? That's just a little inspiration for you today. Where are we at? Insecurity or feeling rejected, victimized, poor self-worth, self-doubt, negative self-image, needing constant reassurance, feeling inferior, fear or anxiety, emptiness, feeling invisible, distrustful of others, unapproachable, lethargy, which we talked about, which is that energy, you know, no energy, passivity, indecisiveness, emotionally cold, feeling powerless, lacking drive and energy, feeling disconnected from source power. I just thought of like one other thing, you know, also too, like when people get ulcers, I'm always trying to like figure out how it connects, you know, connecting the chakras and like what I know they mean to what I know about the body, and how it works. And it just doesn't cease to amaze me. And like, I'm the type of person that like, I am very open-minded, like I'll be honest, but I also, for me, what's cool and like what's my passion is finding like real evidence that substantiates the beliefs that you can't touch. You know what I'm saying? Like these untangible ideas that it's like almost a reach to believe some of these things sometimes. Like, so I feel like it's my passion, and like that's kind of what my purpose is, I feel like too, is to use like my love of like figuring things out, but also combined with my ability to believe in things I can't see and maybe what other people can't see. But you know, people need like that evidence. You know what I'm saying? And they need to see that connection be made. And so that's what I'm always trying to do. And, you know, like someone has like an ulcer, like that's literally, we know that that's created by stress. And it's like feel that helpless feeling. They feel so helpless, like, you know, that they lost their power from their solar plexus, that it is manifesting now with an ulcer. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we know this stuff, so it's not crazy, okay? And what else did I want to tell you guys? So yeah, I mean, that's, I think, all I'm going to talk to you guys about with the solar plexus. I hope that gives you guys an idea a little bit about what that chakra means. Again, I've got 2 other videos posted on my page. I'm going to do the whole thing for you guys. I'm really excited because I just got certified as a Reiki master, which I'm pumped about. If you resonate with that, or you know somebody that resonated with something that I said or would resonate, you know, I urge you to reach out to me. Let's set up an appointment. And I'm not like a crazy, scary person. And the reason I do this, like the reason I do every other thing in my business, is because it's somehow changed my life for the better. And I truly, wholeheartedly believe in it. And now it's my purpose and passion to help you guys change your life using the things that have changed my life, really. And so, yeah, anyone should, oh yeah, don't forget about the balance with your girls party. Anybody who wants to be added into my free Reiki group, I will post the link. You want to say hi, Rainbow Dash? Hello. Okay, we're off to bingo. So I hope everybody has an amazing Wednesday, and hope to talk to you everybody soon. I'll be back. Maybe next week we'll be moving on up to the next chakra, which is the heart, which is a big one. All right, bye guys.